last 2 days. So maybe any of our participants who would like to share their experiences regarding what they have got, right? We have Neha. Neha, I am providing you with the mic, beta. You can just let us know your.
Thank you.
Yes, beta.
I'm very thankful to all the teachers who gave the opportunity to us. Like all the sessions are very helpful and give many information. And ma'am, I want to say something.
Yes, beta. Go ahead.
Ma'am, in the Sanskrit session, I want
Mm-hmm.
to give answer of many questions,
Mm-hmm.
whatever are asked. But ma'am, I would not able to give answer due to the absence of mic.
Right, beta. We are trying to provide mic to as many as possible, but still, since there is such a
But
large
in
gathering,
section, it was
in
also disabled.
no, we are providing in between. When you raise your hands, the whole process is that we ask the students to raise hands. When they raise
Raise
hands,
hand.
we provide, just like now you have raised your hand, and then we have provided the mic. Once you have spoken, then that is again muted. So you have to raise your hand again.
Okay, ma'am, I'm very thankful to all
Right.
and you
Any
also, ma'am.
any proposal you would like to tell us, which you were able to explore from our 2 days discussion on universal human values?
Yes, ma'am. This 2 days discussion is very nice, and it's completely open our mind and open our eyes. Whatever we don't see all these things as in past. It is the first time when I attend the session like this. All these will happen so gratefully, ma'am, and very helpful to us.
In fact, our participants from YouTube also, in case they want to put forth their sharing, they are most welcome to put forth their sharing, their reflection regarding the UHV session, the Universal Human Values session, which is going to be held from 10:45 onwards. So any of your sharings, any other participant, Tamalika Chakrabarti ji? Yes. So ma'am is a faculty. Would you like to put forth your views, ma'am? Tamalika Chakrabarti ji, you have the mic with you. One of our students, Navami Nair Sarda ji. Navami Nair. Manas Sharma. Manas Sharma.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Hello.
Your
Am I audible, ma'am?
reflections. Yes, perfectly audible, beta. Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So, first of all, ma'am, thank you so much to AICTE for providing all these students all over India for this such a great opportunity. Ma'am, all these sessions right from the beginning, the yoga session till the end, that we have the creative practices, ma'am, everything has been such a great experience for all. And personally, ma'am, it has changed a bit to us, like our lifestyles and our way of thinking. That UHV sessions and all that, they have led us to a great extent, and has helped us thinking to greater level.
Any proposals you could see for yourself? Anything which you could, any takeaways you would like to share from us, beta? Soumya Mishra.
Couldn't hear, ma'am. What was the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Soumya. Any reflections from your side, beta?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I'm very glad. I'm very glad that AICTE has given all the students a platform like this where we can interact with our panelists, teachers, and especially the morning session of yoga. It's very refreshing. It's almost a stress buster for all the students. And this aspirational universal human values, it really helps all the students to discover their self only.
Right. So nice, beta. We all are able to connect to each other. We are all able to put forth these ideas, right? These proposals of the universal human values, and so many students. In fact, we see faculty members also being part of this, and they are also participating. A number of faculty members. So, Kamini ji,
Yes.
Kanmani ji, you would like to say something? Kanmani ji. Maybe now that we are very close to our session, another
Good
5.
morning, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes. Please go ahead, ma'am. Dr. Veenu Thomas, you have the mic with you.
Yes, ma'am. I am Kanmani from Tamil Nadu, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead, ma'am.
It is very useful session for me, ma'am.
Have you already gone through this Universal Human Values FDP by AICT?
No, ma'am. Now only I attending this type of PPTs, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
This presentation is very useful for me, ma'am, because I don't know about Sanskrit. So now these sessions are very useful for me.
Right.
I'm learning this Sanskrit very eagerly, ma'am.
Nice.
But on suggestion, ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
in Sanskrit, and they want to tell in English also, ma'am, because so I can't understand in Sanskrit full and full. They are speaking in Sanskrit only.
Well, ma'am, that's one way out with sir, that he says that people will try and understand the language.
Okay,
And
okay.
of course, we can just convey this to sir also. But this is one, right? He has been taking all this sambhashnams, and this is what he says. Now we are now about to start with our universal human values session. So
Okay.
any
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
ma'am, my name is Navami and I'm coming from Kerala in Mohandas College of Engineering. The last 2 days of session was wonderful and it was very informative. As a student, I was able to sharpen my ideas and thoughts. I'm thankful to the teachers who conducted the session and it was a great inspiration for us students.
Right. Nice, beta. Any proposals you could verify for yourself?
Proposal is that about respect, about society, and all those things was explained last 2 session in the UHV session. I was able to relate it with my real life experiences. There were so many questions in me. I found all the solutions from this UHV class.
Very nice, beta. You could explore within yourself, investigate and verify at your own level. So that is something which is really nice. Nice, beta.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, bache. So since it's we are close to the time, and just to introduce you all to today's speaker, Bea, can we have the slide of Sharmila Didi, Dr. Sharmila Asthana? We can have that to begin with.
Hello, madam.
I wanted to start with.
Hello, madam.
Yes, Pita, go ahead, bache.
Ma'am, myself Rakesh Kumar Sahu. I am from Geeta Bhubaneswar. Ma'am, how I'm join in this section, in Hindi section, ma'am?
Hindi session, you want to join for the Hindi session, Pita? There is another link which would be there in your mail, and you can connect to that link. This is going to be in English. Yes, of course, for the information of all our panel, all our participants, a Hindi session is going on simultaneously. Yes. So now let me introduce our resource person for the day for this UHV session. So our resource person for the day is Dr. Sharmila Asthana. To introduce you to Dr. Sharmila Asthana, she is MBBS, holding her MBBS degree from Mahatma Gandhi Medical College, Indore, followed by MD Pediatrics from Regional Children's Hospital of Southern New Jersey, USA. She has worked as Assistant Professor of Pediatrics at St. Christopher's Hospital for Children in Philadelphia, USA, after which she moved back to India. She is a consultant pediatrician. She has been there with Apollo Hospitals, practicing comprehensive pediatric medicine for about 17 years, and later worked with Lucid Diagnostics. Throughout her career, she had a keen interest in prevention and health maintenance, And the main focus of her practice was on counseling and educating parents and children about self discipline, along with yoga and meditation as a means of achieving good health with minimal use of medication. Since 2018, she has been devoting herself fully to universal human values and holistic health. Welcome, Sharmila Didi. We would like to welcome you for this UHV session.
Yeah, namaste, Vanshna ji.
Namaste, Sharmila Didi. Please, now you can take on from here. Our participants are waiting eagerly for this session, Didi.
Yeah, thank you. And namaste to everybody. We have had a couple of sessions on health also. And now, as part of the UHV, we'll talk a little bit about health. Although we have done some bits in the health part, and we'll be doing health in the health sections in the afternoon in a lot more detail. But here, along with UHV also, we'll discuss health in a little bit because it is one of the major concerns today. And in your aspirations, you had put down that one of the aspirations is to be healthy. And similarly, in the concerns part, we've also seen that there is some concern about loss of time when we get sick, when we can't attend school, when we can't attend college, we can't do the activities. So that becomes a concern. It limits our abilities. So a little bit about the aspiration to be healthy. Now, I think, if we ask all of you, we've already asked this earlier, but, do you want to be healthy? And you can ask, now if I ask you this, you can reply in the chat that, is that one of your aspirations to be healthy? Yes, very nice. We are getting lots of yeses. True. So as part of this health, we wanting to be healthy, we do want to eat tasty food, but we also want it to be healthy, right? And besides health for ourselves, we do want a healthy environment around us, isn't it? So when we want all these, we have all these aspirations. Now there are some issues also linked with this. Like now we have COVID, and it has completely changed our whole life in the last few months. So many things that we took for granted, we are seeing, limitations. We can't move out that much. We can't interact. Our colleges have shut down. We are doing things online. So many things have come up which have changed our life because of an environmental issue or some infection which has come in the society today. Besides these infections, then there are other problems, other illnesses, other diseases that are around which are non-communicable, which means that they don't, go from one person to the other, but then they are limiting our potential in a huge way. Like when there is a problem of being extremely overweight or obese. Similarly, when we have a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension, stress, depression, it limits our abilities and we are not able to efficiently use that time. And I'm sure that you will agree that, there is a lot of time that goes in all of this, which you feel that you may have been able to use a lot more productively, and you're not able to use it the same way because of these limitations. So let us see now. Like I said, we have discussed some of this earlier, but just to recall, we looked at the human being, that I am not just the body that I see in the mirror. I am something more than that. I am also, along with the body, the self, and the self and the body coexist together. So they are two separate units that have to be understood separately, but they are in coexistence. And only when I understand this properly can I really appreciate health to the right degree. So when we looked at the self, we said that the need of the self is happiness. And we had asked you all these questions, and we got this answer from all of you that yes, we do want happiness. And although we had gone through this earlier, but I think if we ask you again this thing, do we want to be happy all the time? Or do we want to be unhappy also sometimes? Now I'm asking about our want, not about how things are. It may be that we are happy sometimes, we are unhappy sometimes, but do we want to be happy all the time? So what is your answer? Yes? No? We may be happy or unhappy, but do we want to be happy all the time? So I'm getting some mixed responses, but more of yeses. Definitely yes. Vanchana ji, is it possible to take a look at the YouTube responses?
Ji, Didi. I am looking at this YouTube also. Just
yes.
I'll be putting that too.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so mostly we are getting yeses. It's quite true that I think if we just think about it for a moment, we never want to be really unhappy. We would like to be happy all the time. So this has to do with our feelings. Whatever my need is has to do with feelings. Feelings like we are talking about happiness, if we talk, trust, respect, all these feelings have to do with the need of the self. But when it comes to the body's needs are very different from those of the self. They are linked with physical facility, like food, like clothes, and so on. And these needs we find are temporary. Unlike the needs of the self, which are continuous, these needs are temporary. They are required from time to time, not all the time. So when we eat breakfast, we feel full, we are satisfied, we stop eating. Then we don't need to eat again for another 3-4 hours. Then when it's time for lunch, again we feel hungry, we eat, and then we can give it a break, and so on. If we are walking, we walk for some time, the body gets tired, so we stop, we rest. Then after some time, we feel, okay, we have the energy, we walk again, and so on. So all the activities, all the needs of the body have to do with temporariness. They are not there all the time, but required from time to time. And all of these needs of the body are quantitative. So we can measure this. So like if we talk about food, a person might eat 2 chapatis, another person might eat 4 or 5 chapatis. Someone who is very active may even eat like 8 chapatis, but there won't be anybody who can eat, countless or unmeasurable amounts. So in that sense, they are quantitative, but when it comes to the needs of the self, they are qualitative. We can't really measure the feelings. Either we have those feelings or we don't have them. So that was about the needs. And then we looked at the fulfillment of these needs. And we said that the needs of the self can be fulfilled by right understanding and right feeling from within the self, while the needs of the body can be fulfilled by physiochemical things. Then we looked at the activities. So the needs of the activities of the self have to do with desires, with thoughts, with expectations, which we clubbed together and called it the imagination. So if you just observe for a little while, you might be able to see that we are thinking all the time. We are thinking, the thoughts are going on. And this is something that is going on continuously. We may not be aware of it all the time, but it is there all the time, continuously, and we can observe this and see. But when it comes to the body, all the activities are temporary. And like I mentioned, walking, talking, eating, all that, it is from time to time, not continuous. So before we go further, maybe some hands are raised. I will just take maybe a question also. I think we can take one of the students' questions. Mr. Rakesh Kumar, did you have a question?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Shama, you wanted to say something?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Please go ahead.
Ma'am, I actually had a question. I had a question like from Universal Human Values section. So, usually children of my age, we feel that something like fame and money is all that we need when we grow up, and like getting addicted to social media and all such factors, ma'am. So I wanted one class about those important
Yeah. So that's what we are trying to understand. That has to do
Yes, ma'am.
what we are saying, this money, wealth, all those things have to do
Hmm.
with what we are calling physical facility.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
what happens, which is the need of what, if we clarify which is the need of the body,
Hmm.
which is the need of the self, then we can
Hmm.
understand these things separately and then see, what we exactly need. Are we working for what we exactly need? Is this, this is what we need, or because everybody is saying this, we think this is what we need? So just to get some clarity, we'll try to understand these two separately, and
Hmm.
then we'll be able to identify our needs, our aspirations better.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
So
and one hello.
yeah. Yes,
Uh,
please.
one more thing, ma'am. Like so many students will be having something called a passion. Like apart from studies, they want to take up something in arts or some other field. So like
Mhm.
right now, I think most of them attending this session will be engineering students. So like, what will be your advice to those kind of students, ma'am? Like how much should they put efforts on engineering? Like is there something like you cannot keep up a separate passion if you're doing engineering because it's difficult, or they can do it along with engineering, or they should
Yeah.
choose only
So
one?
yeah, I think, we can see that when we are small children, we learn so many languages. Similarly, when we
Hmm.
get older, we learn so many skills. And
Hmm.
some technical skills. Along with that, we can also build up creative skills. We are doing so many things today, right? In the eSIP program, we are getting exposed to a language, we are getting exposed to yoga, we are getting exposed to health, UHV, so many other issues. So I think it's, you can sort of observe this for yourself, that we can do things in parallel. So many things can go on, and we can explore this and see whether we are able to do all these things. And it gives us a more
Yes,
holistic
ma'am.
view, or is it better just to stick with one skill? But I think I can see that,
Hmm.
it is possible to do all so many things. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Like
Question, ma'am.
in this
Yeah,
okay, okay.
we'll discuss again later, because time is little short.
Okay, ma'am,
Yeah,
fine. Thank you.
Yeah, Srihari, you had a
Ma'am.
question?
Yes, ma'am. I
Yes.
have a question. Ma'am, we have been
Yes.
informed that in life there will be happiness as well as sad things happening around, and the life is just a mixture of both of these things. And now,
Mm-hmm.
when we study through universal human values, we just
Mm-hmm.
came to know that we need happiness continuously, but that does not going to happen anywhere in anyone's life.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we just go behind this continuous happiness rather
Yeah.
than focusing on how to tackle the difficult situations in life?
Yeah. So what we are saying is, right now, first of all, let us clarify what we want. So based on our natural acceptance, this answer that we got universally is that we want happiness. So happiness, we also said, is harmony. To be in harmony within myself, to feel comfortable inside. That is what is happiness. So we determined these two things earlier, right? In the last 2 days, we were able to determine this based on everybody's answers, that we all wanted happiness, and this happiness is to be in harmony. But now, today in life, a lot of times we are not able to achieve what we want. So then I think it is important to see where we are going wrong, because that possibility is there, and we need to sort of look at our potential and see how to achieve that. Otherwise, we keep feeling unhappy all the time. And you may be able to see that when you are happy, you may be doing things a certain way. But when you're unhappy, do you feel motivated to do things in life, or do you feel sad and don't seem to have that much energy?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Are you able to see that difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if we want to achieve our fullest potential and we have this desire to be happy, we want to be happy all the time. Let us see if that possibility is there. Let us at least explore it and see. Then if it doesn't work anyway, that other program has already been fixed, that, life will be full of happiness and sadness and you can't do anything. So we have sort of resigned to that, but let us see if that possibility is there or not. So in the next few days, we can explore it and see. Then if it doesn't work, of course, we can always go back to our happiness and sadness together and try to fix
Okay.
from
Ma'am,
some
I
other.
just have one thing more to add.
Yeah.
Ma'am, as you said, right understanding and right feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, when we just explore or elaborate these ideas or concept, it's just come to us understanding ourselves, right?
It's a little more than that. We are starting with ourselves, but we will look at ourselves and everything that is around us, everything that we can relate to. So we are starting with ourselves, but then we will also look at, understanding the family, the society, the nature and existence all around us. But to reach that whole area, we are starting with the human being. Because first I have to understand myself, then it becomes easier to understand other things around me.
But I think, ma'am, understanding ourselves is the most complex question that anyone ever have to face.
Yeah. So that's why we are starting with that, and then we'll move forward.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. Yeah. So we'll move ahead. So this was about the self and the body. Now, when we said that we are fulfilled by right understanding and right feeling, one of the feelings, these right feelings within us, is the feeling of self-regulation. What is this feeling of self-regulation? This is the feeling of responsibility that I have towards the body. Responsibility for nurturing the body, protecting the body, rightly utilizing the body. So that is, part of this right feeling, that I have this feeling of responsibility towards the body. And then when I have this feeling of responsibility, then this leads to health in the body. This is what we are saying. So we also said, what is health? That the health of the body is when the body acts according to the self and the parts of the body are in harmony. They are working in perfect unity all together and they are in order. So now if you look at it, if you see, the body is already an orderly system. It is already in a harmony. It has some definite conduct. So this we can see if you think of a small baby. When the babies are born, more than 95 to maybe almost 98, 99% babies are born healthy. They are born normal. So to start with, the body is already an orderly system. It is in harmony. And it seems to be working fine on its own. Not that we have to do too much to make this happen. But then as we get older, somewhere we are doing things perhaps a little bit different from what they should be done. Perhaps we don't have that much understanding. So we tend to create problems, and then the body goes into illness, goes into disease, and so many issues happen. It's one thing to have old age and slowly problems start because of the deterioration in the age of the body. But it's quite another to have problems when we are young. So somewhere we seem to be doing things that are not quite right for the body. So we'll look at that a little bit. So when all of the cells of the body are working together in harmony with each other, what happens is that if you look at each cell by itself has certain functions. It keeps going on its own. It keeps doing whatever it needs to do. Then many of these cells come together and they form tissues. Then the tissue as a whole it has a particular role. Many of the tissues come together, they form organs. Those organs do some specific things. And then these organs also become part of a bigger organ system. And then these organ systems together work, for the larger good of the body as a whole. So starting from the small cell, all of these have their own participation in the health of the body. They all work together in unison, in perfect harmony with each other. So if the body is already in harmony, it already has a definite conduct, then what is my role in this? So my role is to make sure that we don't disturb this harmony. Because only if I understand this whole thing, if I understand myself properly, then I'll be able to see that, this harmony is there. And if I want to keep it continuously going the same way, then at least I should not disturb it. And that's why it is important to have this right understanding and right feeling, so that we have this feeling of responsibility for the body, and we do whatever is required to fulfill that responsibility. And this will then lead to health in the body. So this is something that we will explore now, that what we need to do to be healthy. And the details of this program for health that we have put together, the details will be discussed again in health also. So, but here to some extent we will discuss it. So what we are saying is that to stay healthy, we have to think about intake and daily routine. So what we take in and what is our daily routine. Labor, that is like working with the rest of nature, and some exercise. We could couple it with some postures for regulating the internal and external organs, like you are probably seeing in the first session on yoga, and regulating the breathing, pranayam, which also you have been seeing in the first session. And we can also resort to medication, and whenever the body goes into temporary disharmony. And then when it is, if at all we need, we can eventually also resort to, taking the help of a drug or machine from outside to perform a certain body function, which is treatment. So these options are there. So today, a lot of times what we are doing is we are going to the doctor when we are sick. Do you go to the doctor when you're healthy? Does anybody here go to the doctors when they are healthy, or they go when they are sick? So yeah, we are getting a lot of no's. When they are sick, yes, when we are sick. True. So we have gotten into this system of, when we are sick, we go to the doctor. But do we understand health? It is fine not to go to the doctor when, until we are sick, but do we know how to stay healthy? So it is important to look at all these aspects. What are we taking in? Nice. When mom can't cure my sickness, that's nice. Yes. So yeah. So what we are looking at is, when we talk of intake is not just the food that we take in, but everything that we are taking in through our five senses. So through the skin, what we touch, we are getting something, what we smell, what we hear, what we see, right? Besides the food. So all of this is part of the intake. So, to maintain the health, we need the right food, of course, which is nutritious. It should be digestible. We want tasty food, yes. And the waste matter should be excretable, so that it doesn't stay inside and create problems for us, the waste matter. So all of this is part of the food that we eat, and we can take some examples, although this was probably discussed by Dr. Sundaraj yesterday and day before, but it needs to be something that has fiber in it, so that the waste is excretable. It is something that is nutritious for the body, and there can be many choices in this. There can be several choices that you can choose from. It should be digestible. We're all familiar with, junk foods, which are not good for health, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, which are good for health. So we need to see food that is nutritious, food that can be digested. If I have a huge amount of food that my body can't digest, then I can choose to take it in, but if the body can't digest, then it will not be useful for the body. So also, you can look at getting some fresh air, going out in the sunlight. Nowadays, there is so much of vitamin D deficiency because we don't spend enough time outdoors and we are not getting that much sunlight. So all these are part of what we take in, besides the food, the air, the sunlight, the water, so many things. Also, we have to look at what is the state of the self, especially when we're eating, but all the time, actually. Because we mentioned that we have desires, thoughts, expectations going on continuously within us. So we are thinking constantly, we are thinking something. And our state of happiness or unhappiness, is it linked with our thoughts? What do you feel? Whatever we are thinking, sometimes does it make us happy or unhappy? Yes, they are linked. Yes, very nice. So we are all able to see this, that our thoughts are linked with our happiness and unhappiness, because whatever we think, we tend to become happy or unhappy with those things. So now if while you're eating, supposing you're watching TV and there is some lot of violence going on over there, and they're showing some disaster happening or some violent crime happening. So what kind of thoughts will we have? We're not going to be having happy thoughts, right? Now, if we are eating food, now even if you eat the most nutritious food, if you eat it with these kind of thoughts, it is going to create a problem. First of all, if we are watching all these things, we can't pay attention to the food we are eating. So a lot of times while you're doing something else and you eat food, somebody asks you, your mother asks you, was the salt okay in the food? And you say, I don't know. I don't remember. Why don't we remember? Because we weren't really paying attention to it. We were probably, we were just occupied with other thoughts within. So we weren't able to pay attention to the food. So now if we are not paying attention to how much we are eating, like how much quantity to eat and in what form we are eating, what we are thinking, if we are not aware of all this, then it's going to be a problem for us. What kind of food, what is the choice of food, all those things. We need to pay a little attention to that. And also, if we are supposing arguing, if we are angry with somebody, we are arguing, just try to notice, when you are angry, do you see any disturbance in the body also when you are angry? Yes or no? Yes. Vanchana ji, can we get some responses from YouTube also?
Yes, Didi. In fact, a number of people are saying yes to it, and they are participating actively with each and every question. For the previous set of questions also, they were continuously answering.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think, they are also very important to us. It's just that there's some limitation, so we can't really interact with everybody, but we certainly would like them to stay connected and
a number of participants like Priyanshu Sahu and all these people, all Karan Kaur Singh from YouTube, he's also saying yes to the question asked. Pallavi, Rajurkar, all of them are continuously responding and participating in whatever questions are being asked.
Nice. Thank you, Vanchana ji. So, so when we are, if you see, when we are arguing, say, say our brother or sister or somebody did something and we get angry while we are eating. So we start, shouting or getting angry with that person. Or even if we don't do that, some of these thoughts keep going within us that, why did this person have to do this now and something. which is creating a lot of disturbance and unhappiness. And besides that, it has some impact on the body also. In fact, each and every thought that we have has some impact on the body. So we can notice this perhaps like when you get extremely angry. Have you ever noticed that your heart beats a little bit uncomfortably fast? Maybe your hands start trembling a little bit, your voice might shake. So all this is something that you don't want all this to happen to the body, but it is happening. Why? Because somewhere we are, all of these things that are going on, it has impacted the body also. Yes? True. Yes. Eyes become red. Very true. So all these are signs that, whatever thoughts we are having also has impact on the food, on the body. So that is something to keep in mind. So when we are eating, at least when we are eating, but even otherwise, a lot of times when we are sitting and just thinking, we are creating a lot of times unhappiness for ourselves. So besides the intake, we also have to think about our daily routine. So what is the importance of the daily routine? Is it in harmony with the nature? So why is this important? Because if you see, every day we can see that the sun comes up and certain changes we see outside, right? You can see the plants, the trees, the leaves were closed at night. When the sun comes up, the leaves open up, the flowers seem to open up. And as the sun keeps going, it's in the mid sky, things become hot. Then as the sun starts going down, it's becoming dusk, nightfall. These leaves close up again, the flowers close up again, almost as if going to sleep. So all this in nature, with the sun coming up and going down, things are happening in nature that some impact you can see on the trees and on the leaves and the plants. So similarly, what we are saying is that the body is also part of this material unit, and it has the nature has some impact on it. So if you see, when you wake up in the morning, if you wake up early morning, it's nice and bright outside, you might feel some freshness. But by the time it is nightfall, a lot of times you may feel tired, sleepy, drowsy. Those are some effects that we may have artificially covered up in some ways. But if we notice, if we start observing, we will find these changes happening. And in our system also, in the body also, roughly between 5 and 6 in the morning, nature has also provided certain provisions, So between, say, 5 and 6 in the morning, the blood circulation, it goes sort of, it gravitates to the intestines. And this is somewhat, you can consider it as a natural aid to try to remove the waste from the body. So time to go to the toilet and so on. And then time for breakfast after that, get ready, have bath, then breakfast and so on. So this, going to the toilet in the morning, why not go later? Because this natural provision that is there by nature, that will not help you later in the day. Besides, later in the day, when the things are drying up, when outside it is dry, then the things inside the body also start drying up. And then it is harder to have this proper evacuation of the bowels. So that is one thing. And similarly, there are other things that we can see in this routine. Approximately, have an early breakfast, say by 8 o'clock or so that there is ample time for time gap before you get to lunch. Lunch can be around 12ish or a little after that, but finish your lunch by 2 o'clock, so that after that, then the digestion process, assimilation, absorption, all those start. So better not to eat very late lunch. And then your digestive fire is maximum around 12ish or little beyond that. So that is the time when the sun is right on the top of the head. That is when the digestive fire in the body is also maximum. So this is just some things that are there in nature that if we understand, then we can work accordingly. At night when we go to sleep, normally the dinner time, if we make it early, like between 6 and 8, then we have some 2-3 hours before the so that the food gets digested before we have to go to sleep. And at night when we should sleep, approximately if we sleep around 10ish at night, then it's good for the body. Why is it good for the body? Because the body is a self-organized unit. It is in harmony, and it can maintain the harmony by doing certain processes of repair and regeneration within it. On its own, it keeps doing. We don't have to do anything. All that we have to do is, if we sleep and don't disturb it, then it can work normally. So say after midnight or so, the liver detoxification, after 11 or so at night, the liver detoxification can start. Then the kidney detoxification happens. So all these processes are already happening in the body. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to keep trying to monitor or manage it. All we have to do is to not disturb it. So for that, if we sleep by 10ish, then when we are in deep sleep, these processes can happen without disturbance. Now, here again, nature has provided some natural ways. So there is this hormone called melatonin, which is called the sleep hormone. You must have heard about it. This sleep hormone is normally generated in the body a little bit when it's dark, late at night. So by 9:30, 10, it will be there, and that is what makes you sleepy. So you would have noticed at night you don't feel so alert and you want to go to sleep unless you have slept a lot in the daytime or some other thing. So normally when you feel sleepy, now if we disrupt this process, so if we keep our lights on, if we are watching TV, or if we are chatting on the phone, or if we are working on the laptop for a long time, all these artificial lights, when they are there for a long time, it suppresses the release of melatonin, the sleep hormone. And when it suppresses the release of melatonin, then our this whole process gets disturbed. We are not able to go to sleep, so we stay up till late. Then when we stay up till late, then we thoughts are going on, and this melatonin has not been secreted. So now there is a problem, and we keep waking up. Either we keep moving here, there, or we try to eat food or do something else, right? So all these things keep happening, and we are disrupting that cycle. So if we understand the cycle, then we can try to wake up early, do whatever needs to be done during the day. At night, go to sleep by 10 o'clock, so that this process can happen without any disturbance. So this is just some of the things.
Yeah, Didi, I think we can ask the students whether they are able to relate to this rhythm. We can take some sharing from them also. Ji.
Yes. I was seeing in the chat that people are saying that, but we can ask them also, certainly. Sri Hari, would you like to say
Yes,
something?
ma'am. I would like to say.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I have noticed a lot of people, and there were many children like me. All of them, just as you said, this natural rhythm, they are all against that rhythm. Actually, meaning that we are all inclined more to the way to be in. We wake up in late nights and waking up so much late. So why do this? Why are we more inclined towards or against the natural rhythm?
Yeah. So I think,
If you say junk foods and vegetables, we do more prefer towards junk foods. Even if it is a little boy, he more prefer junk foods. So why do this happen?
Yes, good question. So when we are, first we'll take up the sleep part. So if you see, when you were in school, Were you waking up early and going to bed early, or were you waking up late when you had to go to school at a particular time? What
It
was
was
happening?
late. It was actually late.
You were waking up late.
Yes.
How were you going to school then?
No, actually, just 1 hour before the time to go to school, I would wake.
Yeah, okay. So at least, okay, even 1 hour before, but we wake up a certain time because we have to get to school by a certain time, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So right now you may not have gone yet to college, but a lot of times what happens in colleges that there is a little more freedom. A lot of students feel that there is more freedom. You can need not have classes early morning. Some colleges attendance is also not compulsory. Some colleges the things are available. Recorded lectures are also available. So then, when that compulsion is not there to wake up early and go to the class, a lot of times we tend to stay up till later. We may be chatting with our friends. We may be relaxing what we think, or say working till late or whatever it is. But it is something that if we don't understand this rhythm, then we go with whatever flow that we are getting used to. So if you see small children, when they are quite small, generally you will find that they don't keep sleeping till late in the day. They tend to wake up by
Yes, ma'am.
sometime early in the morning. So if you go back to when you were a small child, you will find that that routine is more in line with the natural routine. It is in sync. But along the way, as we go, we get all these ideas from friends, from classmates, from the media, whatever. So there might be this preconditioning that, when you party, you have to go late night, you have to party late. A lot of people have dinner late at night, 10, 11. So when you do all this, now, if you sleep very late, obviously you cannot wake up early. So somewhere you have to break that cycle. Once you understand what is important, you can easily break that cycle. Few days you wake up early, don't sleep in the afternoon, you will automatically feel sleepy at night and you will be able to sleep early. Similarly, when you
But ma'am,
talk about junk foods, yeah.
we have also been told that being late at night is not that a big issue. For in case of studies or like something like that, being late at night is someone's preference, just like waking up early up in morning.
True, true. It is a preference. But do I have the understanding whether it's right for the body or not? That is something that has to be seen, isn't it?
Okay.
So if
Okay,
you
ma'am.
look at the human being, here, if you look at the human being, the body doesn't have so much choice. The body, what we are saying, is like an instrument or a tool of the self. Now the self can choose. It can choose to do some things, and this choice may be based on understanding or it may be based on some assumption. So if I
Okay.
assume that it doesn't make any difference, somebody tells me it doesn't matter, it's a preference, you can do it this way. And if I don't understand the importance of it, then I say, okay, why not? Let's do it. So I do it. But I have to also understand that the body doesn't have a choice in this matter. So now if I stay up late, I can choose to stay up late. The self can decide to do that. But the body has the repair processes going on at night and those get disturbed. So if the repair processes get disturbed, then this is going to create disharmony in the body. And this disharmony starts piling up over days, over weeks, over months. And then suddenly there is a problem of diabetes or high blood pressure, and you feel like, how could I have this problem? I don't do anything, wrong. So why did I get this problem?
Yeah,
So
true, ma'am.
this is where we need to understand the importance of what this whole system is. The body, it is material, it doesn't have a choice. Myself, I have a choice, and I can choose either with understanding or without understanding. If I choose with understanding, I can utilize my, Utilize the body to the fullest potential, rightly utilize it without causing harm to the body, without causing ill health, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So same way for junk food also, same explanation is there, because the need of the self is one thing, the need of the body is a different thing. When I'm eating junk food, that taste is being used, it is a need of the self, or is it a need of the body? What do you feel?
It's a need of the self.
It's a
100%.
need of the self. Exactly. So now if I find tasty food and I have eaten as much as the body can take, but I like the taste and I keep eating because I like the taste of it, the body will not be able to digest it, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
The body can digest only a fixed amount. It doesn't have the choice. But I have that choice, and I have to base my choice on understanding. So that is important, right?
Okay, ma'am. Just last question. Just was.
Yes. Yes.
Ma'am, how many hours does one need to get sleep in a day?
Yeah. So good question. There are lots of things, around about this. One thing I will mention. One is that generally, most people will agree that 6 to 8 hours is fine. So some people say 8 hours is must. I will not say that. This is something that can vary from person to person. Roughly 6 to 8 hours is something that most people agree on. And why it is a little bit different for different people, it also depends on your activities. It depends on what is going on in the thoughts. If all the time I'm upset, I'm, disturbed, I'm in conflict inside, I'm not in harmony inside, then I get even more tired and I feel like I need more sleep. So I sleep more, I feel more dull, I feel more lethargic. But if I do a little bit of activity every day, if my thoughts are not so much in conflict and disharmony, if I'm comfortable inside, then I need less sleep. I already feel rested. I don't have too much disturbance. So like that, it varies from different people. Um, but roughly you can say 6 to 8 hours.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Well, so we'll move ahead with this.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
I have some questions.
Okay. We have. All right. Let's go ahead. What is your question?
And there is that, why is there a mind that it should be like others? Why couldn't it be like nobody could like me and vice versa? There should be thought that I should be better? Could it be?
I
And
didn't
how could it
understand.
be? I'm like, ma'am, that there is a mind that I should be like others, like what others are doing, that I should be like them or something like that. And I should be like others or others should be like me and something. So why shouldn't be that I should be better than others? Sometimes there is a comparison.
Yeah. So if you're comparing and you want to be better than the other, do you feel comfortable inside or do you feel uncomfortable inside? That is a question you have to ask yourself and see. What do you feel?
Sometimes it's comfortable, sometimes not.
Yeah. So this we can all explore and see for ourselves, that when we, supposing you have, you're in a class of, say 20-30 students, and now one thing is that you can, you try to be the best and you want to come first, you want to be better than the others. That is one part. Another thing can be that you feel that we can all sort of do something together, which
Okay,
makes you
ma'am.
more comfortable.
Ma'am, like it is better that if we keep on trying to improve ourselves.
Definitely improve ourselves, but when we compare with others, so if I compare, supposing I have a neighbor who has 2 cars and I have 1 car. Now I start comparing, then I feel, okay, I should also get 1 more car. Now, can I afford it? Do I need it? All those are questions that I don't ask because I'm comparing. So what we are saying is, instead of comparing with others, Let us get the right understanding within us so that we are able to evaluate for ourselves our needs, our desires, see if it is really our desire or not. Is it giving us happiness? Because at the root of it, we want happiness also. So these are some things that we have to explore and see. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you give some examples of physiochemical things?
Ma'am.
Just one moment. I think we won't have too much time for questions then. Physiochemical things is like we mentioned food, like we mentioned clothes, this desk, chair, all these material things, these things are physiochemical things. Okay. Yes. Am I audible?
Ma'am.
Yeah, Didi, you are audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, Upama, this will be the last question.
Yes.
I just
forward. Yeah.
Ma'am, I just want to tell about your other one question.
You
asked earlier about the happiness. May I?
Your voice is breaking. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think happiness comes from our. Happiness comes from our mind. If we can manage our mind to be happy in anything, whatever happens in your daily life, good or bad, if we can get the extract, the happy from the bad things, then we can be happy easily forever.
Yeah, what we are saying is happiness is a state within us. And it is a state when we are comfortable, we are in harmony. That's what we are also saying, that it is a state within.
True. Yeah, so Upma Didi needs to understand whether she is talking about understanding harmony or managing disharmony.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So we'll go ahead. So we talked of intake, we talked of daily routine. We can also include some labor in our daily routine, which will help to move the parts of the body, and also it will be exercise for the body. And at the same time, when you're working with nature, you could be growing some vegetables, you could be planting trees, you could be doing something else where you will also get some physical facility that will be produced as part of this process. If we are not able to get to doing labor with working with nature, then we can also think about things that we can do in the house, or run errands outside so that the body gets exercised. So we could clean our home, we could sweep and swab our room or our house or hostel. We could, if we need to go and get something, instead of going in a two-wheeler or in a motorized vehicle or a car, we can walk down or we can cycle to the nearby shop. So the body also gets sort of exercised in the process, and it helps to keep the body healthy. Of course, adequate movement of the body with exercise, that is possible. And actually, this should not be in exercise. Some postures for regulating the internal and external organs, like, for example, what we do in yoga, regulation of the breathing, like what we do in pranayam. So those kind of things also help with keeping the body healthy. And these are all parts of the self-regulation. So if I have this understanding that the body is something that needs some physical activity for it to stay fit, then I will make it part of my daily routine to do some physical activity. And it need not be necessarily that I go to the gym to exercise. I can actually do some activity like we have mentioned, working in the garden, working in a field, in farming, or it could be just like we mentioned, running errands. So you can ask your mother, does she need something in the house, and you can just go to the nearby shop on the cycle or walk down and get things for her. So those kind of things also we can do. If there is an elder person in the house, you can sort of serve them by doing, massage for the old people. You can put some oil for them, massage them. Those kind of activities also will help to keep your body fit, because you're doing certain movements of the body. And of course, the feeling will be good in that state. So when you have the right feeling, remember we said it has an impact on the body also. So these are some things. And I think it's good to, also think about home remedies. So like somebody had mentioned that they want to, they go to the doctor only when their mom can't get rid of the sickness. It's very true, and I think it's a good idea, right? So if we can have, uh, you know, traditional home remedies in use, then a lot of times we may not need to go to the doctor for small things. And in your mother's kitchen, you will, if you ask your mother, she will probably be able to tell you so many of the kitchen items that can be used to help solve health problems, like turmeric, which is can be used for infections, throat infections, and so many things. There are so many digestive things like ajwain or carom seeds, jeera. There is saunf. So many things are there in the kitchen. So you can sort of look at that and use those things. And simple things, when you have this feeling of self-regulation, if the stomach is upset, you've eaten too much, no need to now keep taking medicine on top of that. Next meal, just eat little less, or maybe skip the meal, eat little fruit or something light, so that the body is able to get back to its normal state of harmony. Because the body has this system in it, but I just need to understand it properly. And only if it doesn't work, if it is too far gone, that temporary disharmony is too much, then we can resort to some medicine. Only when the body just cannot come back to harmony at all, when it is gone into permanent disharmony, only then we have to look at outside, something to depend on outside, like a drug or a machine for the body to function. So simple thing like, when we have a slight fever, now if the fever is 99 or 100, we don't have to rush to take a medicine. In fact, when the fever is mild, you may be aware or you may not be aware, but I can tell you this, that when we have a slight fever, if there is an infection in the body, the white blood cells, which actually get rid of the infection and bring the body back to harmony, they can travel to the site of infection in your body much faster, and they are able to get rid of the infection a lot better when the temperature of the body is slightly raised. So if I understand this, if I have the right perspective, if I have this understanding that this is a normal process of the body to come back to harmony, then I will not jump to just bringing down mild fevers. Of course, if the fever goes up to 104 or something, I may want to bring it down. But mild fevers like 9900, I need not jump to try to give medicine. And same is true, like I said, about overeating and so on. So this is what we are mentioning. So as a priority, what would you do if you want to stay healthy? You can take care of 1A, B, and only next you come to 2. If at all required, come to 3. Otherwise, a lot of times with 1 itself, this intake, daily routine, labor, exercise, yoga, pranayam, with that much, we should be able to fix more than 96, 97, 98% of our health problems. So this is what I had to say. And we can maybe take one more. What I'll do is we'll quickly just do a little bit more. And then I also want everybody to know that the next session, just hold on one moment, please. The next session is after the 15-minute break, the next session is going to be on relationship. So that is an important session. We are talking about the human being here. There we will talk about our relationships with other human beings. So here, when we look at health holistically, I just want to mention that we have spoken of the health of the human being as being health of the self and the health of the body. And because when the self is healthy, then the self has the right understanding and right feeling, it can take care of the health of the body. And family also has an impact on the health. So the family is part of it. So holistic health would mean health of self plus health of body and health of the environment. And this environment will include family, society, and nature. I think here we will stop, and we are just barely in time. I'm not sure if we can take a question or we need to break.
And Didi, we'll break, but of course their queries and all, we can answer few of them. You can take up at 12, Didi. Will that be fine, Didi?
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely.
So, Shreyas, you have some query with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Beta. Go ahead, Beta.
Yeah, the previous topic, ma'am, about the health, about the junk food one guy asked. Yeah, and I wanted to ask a little more about that.
Okay, Shreyas,
We
we'll
see
just
docs.
Shreyas, we'll take up your question. Just a moment. Let me announce it for all our participants that this is this 15-minute break which we are having, and after that we'll have this special session on relationships, just as it has been mentioned. So that is a very important session for each one of us to understand, right? And it has this whole impact on our health also. So for all our participants, this is just a little bit piece of information which we want to put. Another important thing is that today at 4:30, we have this special session by Professor H.C. Verma-ji, a renowned physicist. He'll be coming and discussing things with us. All of us have gone through his books, and it would be a pleasure really listening to H.C. Verma sir. So that is something which I want to put forth for all our participants. Uh, of course, we'll be continuing with our UHV session from 12 onwards. And during this break time, whatever queries you have, you can definitely put forth your queries. So yes, Shreyas, now we can go ahead with your query. Yes, Bachcha.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, why is that you always feel lazy when it is a time to exercise?
Well, who is making that choice? Who is making that choice, Vita? You have to see.
Ma'am.
Right. So who will do that change? Right. So when this self has this feeling of responsibility, with that feeling of responsibility, you will nurture your body, you will protect your body, and you will rightly utilize your body. That is what is being said. So this exercise, which is the right utilization of the body, that also comes with this feeling of self-regulation. So we all need to ensure this feeling of self-regulation within us. And with this feeling of self-regulation, we can ensure health within our body. Is it fine, Bache?
Yeah, ma'am. And why is that the other animals like dog, cat, lions are more healthier than what we are? They don't get diabetes and high BP.
Well, as a human being, we are working primarily on the basis of assumptions, and that's why without this right understanding, we have this indefinite conduct. As far as the animals or the plants are concerned, or the physical order is concerned, they all have definite conduct. They behave the way they are, right? But we, with our incomplete understanding, are behaving arbitrarily. And that's why it is very important for us to ensure this right understanding in each one of us so that we have a definite conduct. That is something which is very important for us as a human being. Right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome, Bache. We'll take up
Good
questions.
morning, ma'am.
Yes, Vita. Yes, Vita.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, perfect.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Vidisha.
Yes, Vita.
Ma'am, I want to ask you about the routine. Ma'am, you said that it will be great if we can sleep at about 12ish and wake up at around 6ish. So will it be good for body if I sleep at around 1 and wake up around 7? Then will the body will be at harmony, or
Well,
it will
Vita,
be not very good for our health?
we all have this natural cycle within us, which is in sync with the sun, right? So all our hormones and their secretion is governed by this circadian rhythm, which was just discussed in this previous session. In fact, yesterday also in the health session, we talked about this circadian rhythm also. So this circadian rhythm, if we are able to follow it, we are able to see the effects on our body. If we are going against this circadian rhythm, of course, our body suffers on account of that, and we have this disharmony within us, right? So this biological clock, the timings and the way the sun goes around is all known to us. So the choice lies with us. It's our choice whether we want to do it or we don't want to do it. And it is this whole feeling of self-regulation, right? If I want to ensure this health in the body, I have to take this responsibility. Nobody else can take that responsibility for me. Is it okay, Bidisha?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you have to
Yes, ma'am.
take your
Thank you,
own
ma'am.
responsibility. Yes, Beta.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
Bachche.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a general doubt. Means I have a long time fear of losing my close ones. So I am not getting over this thought. I tried to get this answer from many things like scriptures वगैरह I gone through, but I didn't. I'm not getting over this question. As more as I'm thinking of this, I'm getting more even depressed that what will be my situation in that case. So if you can suggest any remedy for that.
Beta, in the upcoming session, we are going to discuss about relationships.
Yes,
and you are concerned about your own relationships, but there is this gross misunderstanding where you are associating your relationships with body only, and it is this body which grows old, right? And eventually the body has to decompose. That's the cyclic nature of the whole system, right? But if we are able to understand that this relationship is between oneself and the other, then we are able to see that this relationship is always there, right? And of course, as you move ahead, as you ensure this understanding within you, you are able to get more clarity. So maybe we would simply suggest you to follow one after the other these sessions and try ensuring this whole set of proposals which you are getting, you start verifying these proposals within yourself on the basis of your own natural acceptance, and that will help you out, right? So
Okay,
of course
okay,
it will
ma'am. I
take
will
some
try
time.
to get this
Yes,
answer more from the
yes,
coming.
surely, Beta. It will take some time, but slowly you can take these proposals for yourself and start this whole process of verification within yourself. That is something which you can do.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I have one more doubt that, ma'am, during our Sanskrit session, ma'am, I'm not getting any opportunity to interact with the teacher for having my doubts because
Bachche,
I.
we do try to pass on mic to as many students as possible. But
Yes, ma'am, I understand about the mic, ma'am, but the chats are disabled also, so there are no medium to interact with them.
I suppose we allow the chats, but still, if you feel, we'll just check it once again if somehow it got disabled, because right now also we are allowing the chat. And
Yes, ma'am, now it's fine, but for only Sanskrit session, it's feel difficult.
okay, in case you felt that, we'll just take care of that. Probably I didn't notice at that particular time that the chats were disabled. Otherwise, I would have taken care of. So good that you have reminded us, and we'll make sure that the chat is enabled so that you can put answers in the chat.
Yes,
Very, because it helps you in participating. So we'll take care of that. Will that be fine, Bache?
yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Hello,
Beta.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Beta.
Hello, ma'am. I have a question that today we have learned about the circadian rhythm. So,
Yes.
ma'am, does circadian rhythm change and sleep deprivation differentially affects the brain?
Well, definitely, Beta. If you are going against your circadian rhythm, then your body is going to show some impact, right? Because we are part of this whole nature, and we are governed by the nature cycle. All other orders, animal order, plant order, they all follow this circadian rhythm. So the activity of the plants change as the sun sets in, the activities change when the sun is up. Similarly with the animals also, right? So we are also part of nature, and we are also governed by this solar cycle. If we don't follow it, then obviously it is going to impact our body for sure. Right, Pita? Maybe you got disconnected and we are unable to hear from you. Bhumika, you have some query, Beta? You raised your hand. Bhumika? Shama, you have some query, Beta? You raised your hand.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, bache.
Yeah, ma'am, about the food, I wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
I'm a very slow eater and I'm very bad in eating food. Not picky, but I eat very slow, like whatever it is. Sometimes I'll eat well. So my mom always forces me, like she puts rice and she's like, you have to finish it. And I can sit 1 hour. I'll be sitting on the dining table to finish the plate. So should my mom be actually forcing me, or should I change my eating habit, ma'am?
Well,
Can I ask this?
yes, Didi. Yes.
Thank you. So I think if you're hungry and you're eating, that's fine. But
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you are not hungry and you are forcing yourself to eat, then you can forcefully put the food inside the mouth, but the body will not be able to digest it properly. So more importantly, it should be seen why you are not feeling hungry, or if you are eating a reasonable quantity, that's fine. But if you are eating very, very little, and if you are not feeling hungry, it could be that you are not having enough exercise. The body is not having enough exercise, or some other
No,
issue.
I eat like I'm good at athletics and all, but I eat less, and my mother feels that I should be a little bit fatter, so she feeds me a lot.
Yeah. So I think
Okay.
being thin is not necessarily a problem if you feel healthy. If you're active, if you
Okay.
feel healthy, you're not getting easily tired, then it's not an issue
Yes.
being thin.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Didi, we are running close to the time. Shall we take one more question?
Sure.
Satyajit, you have some question, beta? Amanpreet Kaur, you have some question? Amanpreet Kaur, before starting the session, in case there is some question.
Hello, ma'am.
Bolo.
Ma'am, I had one question. I don't know if I should be asking the question here, but girls get after 28 days they have a menstrual cycle. So is it normal to get pain, or should we go to the doctor for that?
Yeah. So you need not go to the doctor for that. If it is just a mild pain, that is quite natural and normal. A lot of times, if you are somewhat slightly physically active, then this might come down. Just make sure that your routine is right, like the daily routine we mentioned. Make sure your intake is right, and do a little bit of exercise, little bit of walking or whatever, something. Little
Yes.
activity is required for the body to function at its optimum. So
Okay,
that
ma'am.
part
Is
of
it
self-regulation you do, then if there is a problem, you can try to address it.
okay, ma'am? Ma'am, is it good to take painkillers at that time?
Not a good idea if you can, if the pain is not too severe and you are not feeling so much pain that you can't bear it, then you may have to take some medicine for it. But otherwise, no need to do that.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, ma'am.
I think we are out of time. We'll need to start the new session, Bete.
Right,
So,
Didi. Right.
Oh, excuse me, ma'am. I just have a small question here.
Okay, last question. Please go ahead.
First of all, I really appreciate all of you for doing this. It's really helpful for me.
Nice.
And I just had this question about intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
A lot of bodybuilders and people who are like into fitness and stuff do this intermittent fasting,
Yeah.
and actually it does like affect your body majorly, but sometimes there are like side effects. So I just want to know in detail about these side effects, ma'am.
So right now I won't be able to do that in a, you said quick question, but it's not so quick really. What we can do is maybe, after the session on relationship finishes, if you're still there, we can try to answer it for you after the session closes. Can we do that?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay.
So Didi, it's time now. We can just start with our session, and we can just, our participants who are there, in fact, those who are on YouTube and they have the link to join the Zoom session, they can of course join on the Zoom session, and for other participants, of course, they can join on YouTube.
ठीक. So I'll go ahead then.
जी दीदी.
Yeah. So we spoke about the human being, understanding the human being. Now let's look at our relationships. So if we look at relationship, we all know that, we just to very briefly recall before we go into that, previously we had looked at this question, that what is really important for us, and we had come to this conclusion that for human beings physical facility is necessary, but relationship is also necessary. And we saw that if we want fulfillment, if we want to have fulfilling relationships, then we must understand the relationship. Of course, we looked at, that the need of the self in the human being is for continuous happiness. And for this continuous happiness also, we need right understanding and right feeling. So here we could see that, physical facility is a small part of our need, but relationship and right understanding is also required for us. So now if I say, when we talk relationship, who does the word relationship make you think of? If I ask you this question, you can write in the chat. Who do you think of when I say the word relationship? Mother, family, family, nice, mother, children, parents, family, loved ones. Very nice. Nice to see. Are we getting similar results from YouTube? Family.
Didi, the participants are putting on YouTube also. They are just listening and they are putting family. Anirudh
Nice.
Krishna put family. Smriti Srinivas from YouTube wrote family. Uppal Mitra also wrote family. Safna wrote parents. And so many. Akshay is writing family. Pooja is saying papa. And it's flooding with
Yes, nice. Very nice. So we are all able to see that when we talk of relationship, immediately we think of our family. And so today we are going to talk a little bit about the family. So our families are the basic, place where we first explore our relationships. So from the time that you were a small baby, when you were tiny, you could see the relationship between you and your mother, you and your father, maybe you and a younger brother or sister. So this relationship you were able to see. Then as you got a little older, maybe you were 2-3 years old, you perhaps interacted with other people along with your parents, so you were able to see your relationship with a few more people. Then as you got older, you went to school, you must have made friends in school, so you were able to see your relationship with your classmates, with your teachers. And then maybe there were other children in the colony you played with, you were able to see perhaps your relationship with these small children around you, maybe with your neighbors. And now you are entering college, you will have another fresh set of people that you will be interacting with, new classmates, new faculty, teachers. So you will be able to see your relationship with them also. So our relationships are not just with our blood relationships. Our relationships can be there with so many other people in our lives. And now, how do we want to live with all these people? Do we want to make all these people, do we want a fulfilling relationship with all these people? Do we want happiness in our relationships with them? So do we want happiness for ourselves and for them, so that we are all happy in these relationships? Yes, we are able to get a lot of yes answers. Similarly, in the family also, we can perhaps see, do you want happiness in your relationships with your family members? Yes? Yes. We're getting a lot of yeses. So we do want, happiness in our relationships with our family members. So if I say that, do you want to make your family members happy? Is there a yes to that? Yes. Very resounding yes. I mean, it is all yeses I am getting. Very nice. So we do want to make our family members also happy. Do sometimes arguments happen in our families also? Every now and then, some fights, some arguments? Yes. Very true. They do happen. Yeah. So why is this happening? Because we do want to live with happiness with our family members. We do want to make our family members happy. And yet, a lot of times we are having arguments, we are having fights. We are not so happy all the time, isn't it? Yes, I'm getting the answers. Very nice. Everybody is saying lack of understanding. How true. Very nice. Yes. So we need to understand the relationship, isn't it? So let us try to understand this relationship. So we are going to try to understand 4 things about relationship. One is relationship is. What we mean by that is that it is already there. We don't have to create it. We may not recognize it, but the relationship is already there. That is one thing. And this relationship is between oneself and another self. We looked at the human being and we looked that the human being has 2 parts, 2 separate parts. One is the self and one is the body. So what we are saying is that the relationship is between oneself and the other self. It's not between the body, but it is between oneself and the other self. And we are using the body just to express this relationship. We are using the body like an instrument, is what we said. So this is one statement or one aspect about relationship that we are saying. Then we are saying that there are feelings in relationships. Feelings are there in oneself for the other self. That feelings are not in the body, feelings are there in the self. We are also saying that these feelings can be recognized, that we can talk about them, we can discuss about them, and they are definite. And when we fulfill these feelings, when we fulfill the relationship, then we are happy and we make the other person also happy. So we'll look at it in a little bit of detail, but we'll take your opinion about this. What do you feel? Can we talk about the feelings with definiteness? Are they definite or are they abstract? So we are getting some mixed responses. Yes, no, abstract, 1, 2, 1, 2. So a lot of mixed responses. So we will explore this. We will see if it is possible to understand the feelings in relationship, whether it is possible to discuss them. What we are saying is that they are definite and we can talk about them, we can discuss about them. So let's start. So first of all, if we see these feelings in relationship, let us look at what is naturally acceptable to us. So here are some choices for you. We are talking about feeling of trust or mistrust, feeling of respect or disrespect, affection or jealousy, and so on. So what is naturally acceptable to us? Out of these things, on the left side, we have some feelings, and on the right side, we have some feelings. So we can talk about, yes, we are getting left side mostly. We are getting trust, respect, gratitude, love. Nice, nice. Trust. Yeah. So we are able to see that on the left side, we have the feelings that are naturally acceptable to us. On the right side is something that is not naturally acceptable to us. We can see this. Nice. So when we have these feelings in us, this trust, this respect, this affection, love, these kind of feelings, when they are there in us, are we happy when we have these feelings? Yes. Very nice. Most of them we are getting answers as yes. Very nice. One odd no is coming, but mostly we are getting yeses. So we are able to see that this does lead to our happiness. Now, when we express these feelings to the other person, do you think it will lead to happiness for the other person also? Yes. More, yes. A few no's, not always. Yes, can't say, depends. Okay. Okay. So we will explore this. So now, can we see that when we don't have this feeling and we are unhappy, then we seem to have problems in our relationships. And then we start having all these complaints about our relationship. Then it doesn't work for us. Right? Are we able to see this? A lot of times we may sort of try to compensate for this, lack of this feeling. We might try to complain of this, or we might try to compensate for this with some physical facility. Like, if I give an example, supposing your mother was coming with food for you, and you happened to be rushing out, and so she was keen that you should eat before you go, but you were getting impatient and you said, no, I don't want, and you were a little harsh, a little rude, and you left. Now, that feeling was not a nice feeling within, but by the time you came in the evening, you started thinking that maybe, you should try to compensate for that behavior in the morning. And so you might bring some flowers, or you might bring some sweet for your mother to eat, or some gift or something. Does it happen sometimes? People are saying, yes, we feel guilty. Yes, nice. Yeah. So now here what happened is, the problem was with the relationship, with the feelings, but we are compensating with some physical facility, isn't it? So a lot of times this may be happening. So let us look further. So we are not understanding our feelings. So we are becoming unhappy, and we are thinking this feeling is not there in us. So what can we do? Now what we do, because we think that feeling is not in us, we try to get this feeling from the other person. So we are waiting for the other person to express these feelings to us, and then only we'll feel happy. Like yesterday, somebody had mentioned, I think in the YouTube chat, about respect, that yes, we want respect, but we don't always get it. So we are thinking about getting from the other. We want these feelings from other people. And when we don't get these feelings from other people, then we feel unhappy. So we may try a lot of things. So if we don't get respect from other people, we may try to relate this respect, this feeling of respect, also with physical facility. So we may, like that example was given, you wear a very nice dress and all, and you go out and you feel that you will get respect. You may or may not get that. You might get some jealousy, like all of you had mentioned yesterday. So a lot of times we sort of relate these feelings with physical facility. And this is what happens when we try to imitate people who we think are respected in society. We try to copy their appearance, we try to copy their lifestyle, we try to copy the way they talk, the way they dress, all that. But is this really the answer? Here, what is happening is we are waiting for the other person to express this feeling to us, which is naturally acceptable, but they are also waiting to get it from us. So both sides are, you can say, almost like begging for respect, but my bowl is also empty, the other person's bowl is also empty. So where will it come from? So now, we are depending on the outside to get respect, but there is nobody there who is going to give it to us. Similarly, other people are also waiting to get respect from me, but I am not able to give it. So there is a problem. So what do we do now? So let us first get your opinion about this. What do you think? Are you in somewhat agreement with what we are saying, or do you think differently? You have choices of A, strongly agree, B, agree, C, neither agree nor disagree. Yeah, so mostly A's and B's are coming. A few other responses, but mostly A's and B's. Nice. Nice. So you're able to see that, this does make sense a little bit. So now what is important is that we try to understand the feelings, because we are sort of just going by the physical facility part. We are just managing, but we are not really understanding these feelings. So what we are saying is that when we understand the feeling, we ensure this feeling within us, then we express this feeling, we rightly evaluate this feeling, then we become happy, and when we express it to the other person also becomes happy. So let us look at one feeling to start with. We'll look at the feeling of trust, which is the foundational feeling. Why do we call it foundational feeling? Because without this, the relationship can't move forward. So if we don't have trust in the relationship, this relationship is not going to move forward. It's not going to work for us. And, we'll not be able to sort of do anything further in the relationship. It will break down there itself. So what is trust? So what we are saying is trust is to be assured. To be assured of what? To be assured that the other wants to make me happy and prosperous. So I want to be happy and prosperous. Now, if I am assured that the other also wants to make me happy and prosperous, then I feel assured. Then I have this assurance of trust in the other person. So this is what we are saying. Now, how this is trust, but now how do we evaluate this trust? How do we find out if we have this trust or we don't have this trust? And what do we do to find out trust between two people? So what we are saying is we'll ask some questions regarding trust. And what we want you to do is this trust will be about, talking about evaluating trust between two people. So you are one of those people out of the two people that we are, you are evaluating trust for. You are one of those people. And the other person, when you think of somebody who is very close to you. It could be a family member, it could be your mother, father, brother, sister, maybe a very close friend, family friend, a relative, anybody that you are very close to that you want to evaluate this feeling of trust with. So we'll ask these questions. Now, these questions are about our natural acceptance, what we want, not how it is today, but what we want. So about your natural acceptance, I'm asking this question. I want to, or I'm making this statement, I want to make myself always happy. Yes? Let's get some answers. Do you agree to this or no? Yes. Lot of answers. Yes. Agree. Yes. YouTube also, are we getting similar answers? Yes. Very nice. Now we'll put forward one more question. I want to make the other always happy. Just like I want to make myself always happy, I want to make the other always happy. You're thinking of that person that you're close to, that you're evaluating your relationship with. Very nice. Very nice. Yes. Yes. Mostly yes. Okay. Now we'll take statement. The other wants to make herself or himself always happy. Yes, no, yes. Again, we are getting lots of yeses. Nice, very nice. So we can put a tick mark here also. Now we come to a fourth statement. The other wants to make me always happy. We don't know. Yes, no, no, not sure, no, don't know, no idea. Okay, don't know, not sure. Okay, so mostly we are getting not sure. So that is a question mark. So this is the 4 statements we have made about our natural acceptance and the natural acceptance of the other person that we are close to, or we want to evaluate our trust with. So this was about natural acceptance. Now let us make some statements about our ability. So we wanted to make ourselves always happy. Are we able to make ourselves always happy? Or are we sometimes, thinking about things that happened in the past, or something is going to happen in the future and we are unhappy about it? No, always not, no, not sure, no, no, not sure, no. So yes, lot of doubt about this. So we are not able to, we have some doubt about this. I am not always able to make myself happy. I want to make the other always happy, but am I able to make the other always happy? Yes or no? Yes, no, not sure, not always. Okay, so again, doubtful, isn't it? So we'll put a question mark here also. Let's take one more statement. The other is able to make herself or himself always happy? Not always. No. Yes, no, not sure. Maybe, sometimes, not sure. Yes, we are getting all those same kind of responses. So not sure. And we'll make one last statement. The other is able to make me always happy? No, 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 not sure. Absolutely not. Not possible. Okay, nice. All right.
Completely similar responses coming in YouTube also, Didi.
Haan, Vanchana ji, can we? You are saying? Kumar bhaiya,
Yeah,
what?
I am seeing there. Completely
Yeah,
similar
okay.
responses coming there also. Ji.
Nice.
Almost same responses.
Nice. So here there is a double question mark, right? So we are not able to see the other making me always happy. So this is, now we have made 8 statements, 4 about our natural acceptance and 4 about our abilities. Now if you see, it's true that we are not able to see ourselves being able to do what we want. So the first 2 statements about my natural acceptance, I can see that I do want to make myself always happy. I do want to make the other always happy, but I am not able to do so. But when I look at the other person, I can see that they are also not able to make themselves happy or me happy. But when I look at their wanting, I say they are able to, they want to make themselves happy. But when it comes to them wanting to make me always happy, there is a doubt. But really, if we see, if we said, our natural acceptance is similar in all of us. So if my natural acceptance is to make the other always happy, the other's natural acceptance should also be to make me happy. So then why did I have this question mark here? How come I didn't put a tick here? Where did this question mark come from? So if we see, this is what happened. So when I was checking on myself, I was evaluating myself on the basis of my natural acceptance. I said, yes, I want to make myself happy. I want to make the other happy. But when I'm evaluating the other person, I'm not seeing their intention. I'm not seeing their natural acceptance. I'm seeing their ability, their competence, and I'm seeing they're not able to make themselves happy. They're not able to make me happy. And this question mark on 4B, that they are not able to make me happy, I drag this question mark here to 4A and say they don't want to make me happy. Does that happen sometimes? What do you feel? Is that a possibility? Yes. Yes, lots of yeses. Yes, very nice, possible, maybe. think so. Yes. Okay. So that is one possibility at least we can see. So here what we are saying is that we are thinking about our own intention, but when we are trying to evaluate the other person, we are not really looking at the intention. We are looking at the behavior part, the ability part. And we are seeing they are not able to make themselves happy. They are not able to make me happy. And then instead of seeing it as their ability, we are saying they don't want to make me happy and putting it as their intention. We are not noticing that when their ability is concerned, similarly, my ability is also similar. I am also not able to make myself happy. I am not able to make the other happy. But when I'm evaluating myself, I'm looking at my intention. When I'm evaluating them, I'm looking at their competence. So this is where the
Take
problem
some
is.
reflections from the students, Didi. Maybe we can pass on the mic to of you and take some reflections.
Yes. So this is what is doubt on intention. This is what is mistrust, is what we are saying. So maybe Mr. Rishikesh, your hand is raised. Maybe we can give him the mic. I'm not able to.
Yeah, I'm doing this, Didi.
Achha.
Ma'am, when suppose two good friends have to part ways, why is it that, like you take the blame of what happened on yourself and, think that it was your fault that, you had to lose your best friend and, you guys are not on the same page anymore. So why is it that we tend to take the entire blame on ourselves?
So are we really doing that? If we move forward a little bit, we'll be able to see, are we really taking the blame? Is that what is happening?
Like
Or maybe we have not understood the feelings properly and maybe there is an issue there. Like what, Rishikesh, you were wanting to say something?
Yes, ma'am. So I just wanted to know that, like during the initial stages, why we take the entire blame on ourselves and go down this entire huge negative spiral. And
Yeah.
like I want to know what are the ways to come out of it.
Yeah. So when we don't understand the relationship, when we don't understand the feelings in the relationship, a lot of times we keep making ourselves unhappy over some past incident which happened, right? So
Yes,
some
ma'am.
experience we had with our friend, something happened, and we keep having this thing in our mind that, we really wanted it to work, but it didn't work, and it's making us unhappy. And so we keep thinking about it and we'll look into it a little bit more. Maybe it will become clearer what is
Yes, ma'am.
exactly happening here. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Meenakshi, did you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Is I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Ma'am, according to me, in a relationship, we want to make a trust on the other and we want to make happy the other. Then we will get me happy. We will be able to happy always. That I want to know that the other want to make me always happy. That I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. Yes. So that is what we are exploring. And that, why are we not sure about their intention? So we are not able to make out because we are seeing their behavior. We are
Yes, ma'am.
basing it on some past experience, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is what we are trying to explore. We'll look into it a little more and then it will become more clear. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll get back to what we were saying. So now when I don't see the other person's intention, I'm able to see my intention, but I don't see the other person's intention that, they want to make me also happy. When I don't see that, then supposing I make a statement, the person that I'm evaluating trust with, they have a glass in their hand and it breaks. So what do I say? You broke the glass. Right? Sometimes I say this. And when I say for myself, same thing happens with me. What do I say? Oh, the glass broke by accident. Almost as if, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't intend to do it. It just happened by accident. But do we say it the same way for the other person? Or do we say, you broke the glass? So if you have a good friend and you tell your friend that let's meet at whatever the hub, the student hub, wherever we meet for some snack or something like this. And you say, okay, we'll meet over there at 5 p.m. So you go there at 5, your friend is not there. Now, what goes on inside? Are you comfortable and you feel that, okay, the friend must have been caught up in something and maybe that's why they didn't come in time yet? I'm here waiting. Or you start thinking, array, this person doesn't come on time at all. Why did I even bother to call? Now see, now this person is not even interested in the relationship. This relationship is not even important to them. My friendship is not important. That's why he didn't come. Do such kind of thoughts start coming within us sometimes? Yes? No? Yes.
So many of them are saying yes on YouTube also, that this is something which happens with them.
True. True.
We
But
see
if the
Philip
same
Joseph.
me, yeah, nice. Thanks, Vanchana ji. So if the same thing happened with me and I didn't get there in time, then I would have a good explanation, right? That, of course, I wanted to go there. It's my good friend and I wanted to meet my friend. But, the same thing happens with me. We may explain to the other person, array, last minute when I wanted to come out, my mother asked me to do this. Or my younger brother or sister was just troubling me with this. That's why I got late. Otherwise, I would have been here on time. So see the difference in how we make certain statements based on how we are thinking. So if the other makes a mistake even once, I start doubting the intention. I start thinking that the other person is making that mistake intentionally. And when I do that, how is my feeling inside? Do I feel comfortable or uncomfortable? Do I have a feeling of opposition, perhaps even irritation, anger sometimes? Yes. Uncomfortable, anger, maybe. Yes. True. And then I think to myself, this other person is really bad and he cannot improve. He's always going to be like this. But when it happens with me, even if I make the same mistake 100 times, I don't doubt my intention. I can see very clearly that my intention is right, that I didn't intend to uh, do this. It just happened by accident. So when I'm thinking that it is happening by accident, yes, somebody is mentioning that we make excuses. True. So we say that it's happening by accident. So then I am telling myself that I am a good person. I didn't want to do it. It just happened. So now will I try to improve myself? When I'm thinking like this, that I did it, it just happened by accident. I didn't really mean to. Now, am I going to try to improve myself when I'm thinking like this? No, because I think I'm already okay. There's no problem with me. So I will not try to improve my ability or my competence, isn't it? Nice. So you're all able to see this. So this doubt on intention, this is the major reason for problems in relationship. And because of this, we may not speak to one another for days together. We may even break up the whole relationship. And like this, we may have lost many good friends. Like that question was being asked, why do we sort of take the blame, or why do we blame ourselves? But really speaking, do we understand what is exactly happening? Or are we somewhere feeling that we are sacrificing and sort of taking the blame, but somebody else was responsible? So if we, think about some of these incidents that happen. So there was this girl who had attended this workshop, and that same day she had some sports event or something, and she won a trophy. And when she went back to her house, she was all excited about the workshop and the trophy. So the trophy she kept aside on the dining table, and her mother was working in the kitchen. And she went and told her, we had this workshop, and there was this talk about trust. And I really liked, this intention and competence. And now I can see the problem, the problem why we always argue, why you and I always argue and fight, is because you are not able to see my intention. and you are always thinking my competence is my intention. So she told her mother all this, and her mother was just quietly listening. And then this girl's younger brother, who was playing outside, he came running in excitement, and he didn't see that trophy. He bumped into the table. That trophy fell down and it crashed, broke. Immediately, this girl came out and started shouting at her brother. Can't you see that you broke my trophy? Why did you come running like this? And she started shouting. The mother was just watching silently, and then she said, now what happened about your intention and competence? So see what happens. We are able to see this thing in others, but a lot of times we are not able to see it for ourselves. But we also do the same kind of things, isn't it? Our ability is also not that different from the others. So that understanding we need to have. So does this happen with you also sometimes? Yes, no, yes, yep, exactly, yes, no, yes, 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 always, sometimes, yes. So mostly yeses and a few no's. So this is something that we can keep thinking about. So now if you have unconditional continuous trust on intention, which means that uh, you are able to see the other person's natural acceptance, and you are able to see it all the time, and it doesn't depend on their behavior. If that is true, and if the other person is lacking in competence, then what will you do? Will you try to improve that person's competence and also improve your competence if it is lacking? Or will you get irritated, get angry, or have a feeling of opposition? So if you have unconditional continuous trust on intention, that means if you are able to see the other person's intention clearly, then what will you do? A, yes, A, nice, true. So naturally, if the other person is lacking in competence, I will try to improve that person's competence. Why will I get irritated or angry? Nice. So maybe we can take some students' reflection on this. Satyajit Kumar, we need to pass the mic. Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, I am having a general doubt that whether in this relationship we need to do expectation, or expectations are the general means that come from us only in relationship, or we should expect, or should we not?
Yeah. So I think, expectation, because we have desires, we have thoughts, we have expectations going on all the time within us. So it is fine to expect, when we respect others, we trust others, we expect others to trust us, to respect us. It is fine to expect that. But we also have to do it with this understanding that it may not always happen this way.
Possible for the
And
person to fulfill our expectation.
yeah, it may not work. And then if if my happiness depends on this, then I'm going to be unhappy because of it. But if my happiness doesn't depend on it, supposing, as we see further, if I have the feeling of trust, um, I don't necessarily get unhappy when the other person doesn't trust me. It's like this, that when, say, somebody shouts at you, okay, now you were talking nicely, the other person shouted at you. You had an expectation that the other person should talk nicely to you because you're
Yes.
talking nicely to them, isn't it? But
Yes.
that person started shouting at you. Now what happens? You have two choices, isn't it? Either you can become unhappy with it because you expected this to happen, expected something else to happen, and this has happened. So either you become unhappy with it, or you can see, when does a person actually shout? If you see for yourself, when do you get angry and shout? When you feel comfortable inside, or when you are feeling uncomfortable inside? When does it happen? What happened to Satyajit? We were answering that question, right? Satyajit.
Whenever we are uncomfortable, or we just broke in a shout.
Yeah. So now if I'm able to see that I shout and scream and get angry when I'm uncomfortable, similarly, I can see the other person is also shouting, perhaps because something is, he's feeling some discomfort inside. He's uncomfortable. So if I can see that, then I'll be able to see that, he is only in trouble. How is he going to help me? And how is he going to talk nicely? He is only getting distressed. So then I'll be able to have a feeling of affection towards the other person rather than irritation and anger. Then I won't become unhappy. Can you see the difference?
Yes, ma'am, I am satisfied with your answer.
Okay, thank
Ma'am,
you.
I am having one more. I need one more clearance that I am having a long time fear of losing my close ones. So I tried to get over it with many things like scriptures, kind of things. I more investigated, but but I am still not getting over this. As more as I think over it, I get more depressed only.
Yeah, so I think, a lot of times we get unhappy thinking about things that may never happen or may not happen for a long time, or something that is, right now at this present moment, it is not a reality. We are just building up our thoughts about it and becoming unhappy. So this is what we mean by creating unhappiness for ourselves, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, it's okay to have expectations. It's okay to sort of
Fear of
be
losing.
aware, but fear, is not necessarily something that is acceptable to us naturally. And that is why this fear is creating more unhappiness for ourselves. But if we are able to see that, the relationship, whatever is there right now, we can make it better. We can have harmony. We can have better relationships, fulfilling relationships with each other. And whatever fear that is there, probably there is some maybe past experience of something that is bothering us. We may not be fully able to see it yet, but we can have this better understanding as we keep working with ourselves, as we keep becoming aware of what we are thinking. We'll be able to see that these fears may be baseless, and then we can come out of it. But it may take little time. If it's something that is there from long time, it may take little time, but we can work on it, and we can sort of keep exploring that, and we'll be able to see. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So we'll move ahead.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am?
So,
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am.
yeah, okay, last question, then we'll move ahead. Tell me.
Ma'am, it depends on us that we trust a person or not. We should not expect the same thing from that person, no, ma'am. Whether they trust or not, it's not a compulsion.
Yeah, true. What I would say is that it's okay to expect, but if we don't let our happiness depend on it, then it's okay. Then it doesn't bother me so much when the other person doesn't behave the way we expect.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am?
Thank you. That was last question. We'll move a little bit ahead, then we'll come back to more questions.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So here we already got the answer to this. Now, when we trust the intention, then we respond to the other person. But when we doubt the intention, that's when we react. Like that example we were taking of when somebody shouts at us. Now, if I have trust on their intention, then I will respond to that person. I will think, okay, this person is shouting because they themselves are in trouble. How can they make me happy when they are already unhappy? They can only give what they have. So if they are happy, they can give happiness to me. But if they are unhappy, they will only share their unhappiness with me, and that is what they are doing. If I understand this situation, then I will respond to it. I will try to help them. But if I doubt the intention, and if I start thinking he shouted at me because he doesn't like me and because he is finding fault with me, all those things, then I will try to shout back. I will shout back double, then he will shout back 3 times, and this will just keep going on building up. So when we are trusting the intention, we respond. But when we are doubting the intention, then we react. So now let me ask you this question. How many persons do you have trust on intention, which is unconditional, continuous? That means if unconditional meaning, it doesn't depend on their behavior. Continuous meaning that not even for one moment you get irritated or angry with them. So how many persons are there like this? A very few people. True. 0, no. 2, very few, rarely. Nice. Some people, very few. Parents, 2, 0, no. Nice, very nice. So you are able to see that we don't really have trust on intention on too many people. So somewhere that problem of the relationship, is it with the other person only, or is it with me also? Isn't it? So somebody is asking to repeat. What we are saying is, how many persons do you have trust on intention? Meaning, trust on intention that is unconditional and continuous, meaning that it doesn't depend on the other person's behavior. And you are always trusting them. So not even for one moment you ever get angry or irritated or upset with them. How many people are there like that? So that was the question. And many people have said maybe 0, very few, and so on. It's true. It's very nice that you can sincerely explore this and see, because this is fundamental. This trust on intention, this is the foundation of any relationship. And once we have this understanding, once we have the feeling out of this understanding, then we can have this feeling within us, which is continuous, which is definite, and which is not dependent on the other person's behavior. It is not conditional, it is unconditional. Regardless of the other person's behavior, we are still able to have that feeling. And the biggest achievement of that feeling is also, one is that we ourselves feel comfortable inside, we are in harmony. And then we are actually able to help the other person also come out of their discomfort. We are able to help them. So nice, you were able to explore this. Now, if I have trust on intention, then that question mark that I had in 4A, now I can put a tick mark and say yes. Just like my intention is to make the other person happy, the other person's intention is also to make me always happy. And now when I evaluate our relationship, now I will be seeing that the intention is same as mine. Now let me look at the competence. Now when I evaluate the other person's competence, I will also evaluate my competence and see what the problem is. So now that same example that we took, the glass broke by accident. For the other person also, I will say it broke by accident. When I don't come on time to meet my friend, then I say that, something happened, I couldn't come. When the other person doesn't come to meet me in time, then I can also start thinking about this, that perhaps the other person got caught up in some work. Perhaps the other person's phone was not working, couldn't call. Maybe I can wait patiently. He will come. So we can see this when we have the trust on intention. Even if the other person makes the same mistake 100 times, I will be clear about his intention. I know that the mistake is because of lack of competence. It's not a lack of intention. So when I'm able to see that, then I will try to help the other person with a feeling of affection. And when I make a mistake, even once, of course, I am clear about my intention. And I know that this mistake is due to lack of competence, but I can now make effort to improve my own competence and I can learn. So, if the other person is lacking in competence, I can help the other person improve the competence. What is the need to become irritated and angry? isn't it? This trust on intention, this is the starting point in development for the other person and for myself. So there was this example of this student in the college who was mentioning what had happened. He had also recently gone through the workshop, and he was sharing in the workshop that he had this close friend in college, and he had one time he was in the mess they had lunch and all. So one time he had gone for lunch, and when he was coming out of the mess after lunch, he happened to notice his good friend rushing towards him. So he waved to him to talk to him, to say hi to him. But this person almost, just seemed to look through him, and he went into the mess. So this person was very upset, and he felt, he didn't even acknowledge my hello. He didn't even say hi. He says, what he was sharing was that earlier, if this had happened, I may not have spoken to that person for days. Sometimes it might have even happened that I may never have spoken to him again. But I thought, okay, maybe this intention is supposed to be right. So let me see, maybe there is some other issue. So he went back to his room quietly, and he waited till the afternoon. And then in the evening, he went to this other boy's, his friend's room. And he told him, that this afternoon, when I was coming out of the mess and you were going in, I waved to you. You didn't even say hi, and I felt very bad. So that boy looked a little puzzled, and then he looked very apologetic, and he said that, I'm so sorry, I didn't even notice you. And then he told the whole story, what had happened. He had left his wallet in the mess when he had gone to lunch. He had already eaten his lunch. And after that, when he went back to his room, after like half an hour, he realized he had left his wallet in the mess. So he was rushing back to the mess to make sure that he was able to get back his wallet. So he said, I am really so sorry. I never noticed you at all. Now, see, such a simple incident, but we may have sat for hours and thought about it in so much detail and thought, that this person is at fault. He's the one who is having the problem. He doesn't want to meet me. He doesn't want to talk to me. He's not a good friend. And we can build it up on and on and on and make so many stories out of it. So does this happen sometimes with our close friends? Does it happen that in our relationships we do this? Yes, true, very true. So what is this reason and what is the solution to this? So the anger that comes, this anger is when we are not able to see this difference between the intention and competence, like we just spoke. We see only the competence part, and we assume that lack of competence to be lack of intention, isn't it? Now, once we start doubting the intention, then we have this feeling of opposition within us. We feel irritated, we feel angry. And any small incident can lead to this irritation or anger. It will be a very small incident, but then we build it up so much. We get so angry, we get so upset, and then we just break the whole relationship. So that's why we say that trust is the foundation value. If trust is not there, this relationship will not move forward, because somewhere I have already doubted the intention. I have already decided in me that the other person doesn't want to make me happy. So now I just cut off. I don't continue with the relationship. So that problem happens. So what's the solution? First of all, if I can understand the human being, then I can see that the other human being is like me. The other human being is also self and body. The other self has the same kind of intention or that natural acceptance to be happy and to make others happy, just like I do. And the other person may be lacking in competence. They may not be able to do what they really intend to do, just like I do. I am also lacking in competence. So here the other person is like me. So if I can see that the other person has this right intention, but is lacking the competence, then instead of getting angry, I will see what has to be done. First of all, is my expectation right or not? Isn't it? So remember, we were talking about, should we not have any expectation? It's okay to have expectation, but let us see that we are making the right expectation. Is it based on understanding the relationship, or is it just an expectation I have had, which the other person cannot fulfill? Then, when I want to fulfill this desire that is there in me, whatever desire, so like if I have a certain desire and that desire doesn't get fulfilled, then I get angry. And we think that this desire is not fulfilled because of the other person. Then we get irritated, we get angry. So I may be becoming unhappy because I am only creating that unhappiness for myself because my expectation was not right. But when the other person shouted at me, I thought that now I wanted to be happy and this person is shouting at me. Now I'm unhappy. It is because of that person. So I start blaming that person. But have I got the necessary competence in myself? What effort am I making to help the other person improve his or her competence? So that is something we have to try to keep checking for ourselves. And what is my opinion on this? Do you people agree to what we are saying? Are you able to see this? So we are getting a lot of A's. Strongly agree. Yes. Nice. Very nice. Nice. So I'll just quickly sum up this topic and then we can take maybe one or two more questions.
On YouTube also we are getting lots of A's, Didi. As
Very nice. So nice.
People are giving response. Kishore Sam from YouTube is saying A. We have others like others saying A, Arjun saying A, Shrishti saying A, and in fact there are lots and lots of people who are saying A. So they are agreeing to this whole opinion, Didi.
True. So we are able to see this and it makes sense. So now we know the solution also, right? So we have the right expectation and we improve our own competence without doubting the other person's intention. That's the solution, right? Then we won't have anger, we will have a good feeling and the relationship can move forward. And both of us can benefit from that. So trust is to have the clarity that the other wants to make me happy and prosperous. And if I have trust on intention, I will accept the other. I will be assured of the other. And then we can both make effort for developing together. I can improve my competence. I can help the other person also. And I make a program meaning whatever I plan about our interaction, I make that program with the other based on the right evaluation of our competence. So I can evaluate the competence for myself. I can evaluate the competence of the other and I rightly evaluate it. Now, if the other person has less competence, then first I make effort to assure the other. How do I assure the other about my intention? How do I make the other person see that I am doing whatever I'm doing for their happiness and prosperity? I can do that by behaving responsibly with them. If I don't shout and scream and react, then they will be able to see that my behavior is definite all the time. Then they will get assured of my behavior. And then I make effort to improve their competence once they are assured in relationship. If I try to help them improve without assuring them, without behaving responsibly myself, then it will not work. Of course, if I am lacking in competence, then I can take help from the other person to improve my own competence. But the problem arises when I have doubt on intention. Because here I am evaluating myself on the basis of my intention. and I'm evaluating the other person on the basis of their competence. And then I have this feeling of irritation, anger, opposition, and then it leads to fights, arguments, irritability, and all of that. So this is what I had to share today. I think we are out of.
Yes, Didi, we are just in time. Though at 1 we have the quiz link open, it opens, but since the quiz link will remain open for quite some time, so we can have just uh, one or two questions, Didi, if you would permit.
Manisha Di, we can just announce regarding this whole session about family, where relationships, we would request our participants to let their family members also watch this. In fact, tomorrow's session will also continue with feelings and relationships. So if they can sit with their family members, this is something which is really appreciable on their part, their family members also participating with them, because these feelings, when we look at these feelings, it's our family members with whom we are in contact, and we express these feelings with them. So this is something which I would like to put forth.
Yes, very nice, Didi. And as we can see that it is already 1, so we can just ask 1 or 2 participants maybe at the most. Otherwise, since the quiz link is already open, so the children need to take up their quiz questions as well. And the assignment link is also open, but the assignment link will close by 9:30 tomorrow morning. So the assignment, I'm sure the children must be taking care of it a little later once the sessions are done. But for quiz, yes, the link is open right now. And Ms. Komal, would you like to interact with Dr. Sharmila Thana Didi? Okay, Ms. Manisha Swain.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Manisha Swai from Geeta Bhubneshwar.
Yes.
Ma'am, when some arguments are going on, and if I see that the opposite is not understanding me or counter attacking me, so I just shut my mouth and I don't say anything, for which lots of misunderstanding occurs. So, ma'am, how to convince the opposite or make understand that what
Yeah.
my feelings are?
Yeah. So I think here, lot of times we are, our focus is on trying to change the other person, or trying to, put our point across to the other person.
Yes,
But
ma'am. Yes.
we see what is our feeling inside when we are doing this. So like you said, we may shut our mouth and we may not talk to the other person, not shout back, but something goes on inside also, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Some sort of thoughts are going on inside.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that,
Yes.
yeah. And because of that, we have a certain kind of behavior with the other person. We may not even become aware of it. We start behaving in a different way with that kind of feeling. We don't have a good
Absolutely,
feeling.
ma'am.
Some opposition is there, some irritation is there. So even when we try to help that other person, or to try to make them understand, because of this feeling of opposition in us, it starts showing in our behavior. And the other person is able to see that. And they get put off by that. They don't want to listen anymore. So what we have to do is, first of all, we have to be able to see their intention. Did they intentionally cause that problem, or are they disturbed? Once I am able to see that they themselves are disturbed, that's why they are shouting. Because I also shout only when I'm disturbed. When I'm in a good mood, I don't shout. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if I'm able to see that they're shouting because they are disturbed, then I don't have this feeling of opposition anymore. I start feeling a feeling of affection. Then I feel, okay, how should I help them? Now my feeling is totally changed. Now, when I behave with them, I behave very responsibly, because my feeling is different now. And if I keep doing this for some time, then the other person feels assured of me. Then the other person feels, yes, they are willing to listen. Then I can discuss with them. Then it might work. But without that, it won't work.
Thank you, ma'am. I will try it
Yeah.
for sure.
Nice.
Very nice. Yes, dear children, I would like to inform you this also, that at 2 we'll have our Gopu sir again today to take up the session from 2 to 3. And from 3:15 we have Dr. Kumaraswamy sir who will be conducting the health session for us. Didi, am I right, Sharmila Didi?
G, that's right.
Right. So, and apart from that, yes, as I said, the quiz link is already open, and all the children who would like to complete the quiz may also do the same. Meanwhile, we have Shivashish Dubey. Would you like to know something, beta? Shivashish Dubey, you can unmute. Okay, Shivashish is disconnected. Then Suraj Kumar. Suraj Kumar. Okay. Miss Varshini. All right.
Maybe Didi, now the students have gone for lunch or something, and
Yeah.
we are attempting quiz also.
We have demand, Mr. Demand Are. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. I actually asked. My name is Dimant. I'm from New Horizon PU College. I mean, engineering college. I just had a question here. I asked this question earlier. She said, ma'am said she would answer
Yeah.
it later.
Yes. What was your question? I'm sorry, I forgot.
So yeah, there is this trendy thing going on in this fitness world, which is called intermediate fasting.
Yeah,
Intermediate fasting.
Intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wanted to know more about this, ma'am.
Yeah. So this intermittent fasting is actually very useful if you understand how to do it properly. So generally, in our tradition also, there is talk of Ekadashi. You may have heard of that. That has to do with a fasting once in 15 days. What they say is that once every 48 days, which is like one period which is called a mandala. So once in this period of one mandala, there are 3 days in one mandala when you don't need to eat that much. The body doesn't require that much. And these 3 days can be different for different people. So because we are not aware of which those days are for us, and we may not be able to see this, in tradition, they made it sort of, sort of a rule or help to people that they labeled early on itself which are the Ekadashi days, and it has to do something with the lunar cycle, with the moon. And on those days, traditionally, people used to fast. So if somebody is not able to totally fast all the time, they would eat something light like fruit or something. And this happens every 15 days. If you check any our traditional calendars, you will find this Ekadashi date on them.
Didi,
So,
may I just put in a word? Today it happens to be Ekadashi itself.
Right.
Yes.
True. Yes. So this intermittent fasting, now scientifically it has been shown that if you fast for 16 hours at a stretch, this condition doesn't allow cancer cells in your body to survive. So because of our bad routine, lifestyle and eating habits, there may be certain cells that come up in the body which are not so good. So they can be called cancerous cells, which multiply and they create havoc within the body. So when you do this 16-hour fast once in 15 days or so, this doesn't allow these cancer cells to multiply or to survive in the body. So that is one benefit that science has shown. And in general also, if you think, because we keep using the body in a way that, we rather than using, we are misusing in a lot of ways. So sometimes it's a good idea to give the digestive system a little rest so that it can get revitalized and function even better. So that was what I wanted. Okay.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I understood everything, but I just want to know dehydration is also a part of this process,
A part of what process?
of this intermittent fasting, ma'am.
Yeah, so if you're fasting, you will not be doing too much activity that day, right?
Okay. Okay.
So, what I would say is, at a
Oh,
young,
what I have.
Didi, can we
yeah,
take up the details further because children have to
yes,
do
yes, it's
this?
getting late for
Yes,
everybody.
yes, yes.
So I'm
So,
sorry. I think we are out of time. I did try to answer your question, Dhimant. I hope that will be sufficient for now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
very
Well,
nice, Suman. That's so good. You're taking a lot of interest into the health aspect. That's really nice. But Vita, the quiz is on, and you can take up your quiz also. And the fourth, and thank you, Sharmila Didi, for such a wonderful interactive session with the children.
Ji,
And
thank you. I had a good time. Namaste to everybody.
and apart from that, I need to tell the children, dear students, we'll be having a session by our Goku sir again at from 2 to 3, further extension into what we learned and what we heard yesterday. And after that, from 3:15 to 4:15, Dr. Kumaraswamy will be taking a session on health. And today, the 4:30 to 5:30 session is will be of much interest to you again because Professor H.C. Verma, sir, the great physicist, and of course, I'm sure some of you must have read his books and taken your physics studies using the authorship of Sir and his expertise into physics. We'll be hearing him. We'll be interacting and listening to his session from 4:30 to 5:30 as well. So take care. Of course, have your lunch, do your quiz, and a lot of self-exploration to be done. There's certainly and definitely. And we'll be meeting again at 2, of course, for the session on the literary activities. And our Goku sir is going to be our resource person for today as well. So